Welcome to Talking Giants presented by SeatGeek. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Penik. And Justin, we're there. End of the season. Final episode before the Giants season has concluded, where we know where they're drafting, where, we should know soonly after that we're at the fates of Joe Schoen, Brian Daboll, Mike Kafka, Shane Bowen, and whoever else. We're going to give our predictions on that. We have the 2024 Toney Award. That's going to be announced later in this episode, so it's always a big deal. Justin, how we feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling a little nervous about the future and everything that's coming up, and I fully haven't wrapped my head around the idea that, man, we gotta get mentally ready to go through another head coaching cycle, and probably not a GM cycle, but at least do this whole damn thing all over again. And we got to think of candidates. We got to think of everything that we want, and what guys do we want to interview? What guys do we want to look at? What's going to be the OC, DC? We got to do all this crap all over again, Bobby Skinner. But maybe not. Maybe they'll keep Brian Daboll, and our lives will just get simpler.
Simpler, even. I guess we're probably on the agreement that we're just resigned to the fact that Joe Schoen is staying.
Yeah, I've been asked a million times.
So now we're rooting for Brian Daboll to stay, even though we've been in the camp.
Yeah. Which
is weird. It's just like, well, at least it's not the worst case scenario, which we'll see what happens. We're going to give our predictions on all of that, Justin.
Yeah. Which by the way, I've been asked like a million times. Like, we're back in the office today, and at Giants games, what do you want them to do in the draft? I'm like, brother, I need them to get through Monday first to see what the hell happens before I even think a second about the NFL draft and what I want. So yeah, it's finally here. It's finally going to happen, and we'll do the damn thing, and whatever happens, happens, man.
Let's get into our predictions for what happens, Justin. Before that, this episode is brought to you by some special people. We got Adonis 88A. I don't know exactly what all that stands for, but I do know Andonis. Vinny Vitale, or Dick Vitale's brother, Vinny, son, I don't know. Tavo Reyes. He's not as fast as Jose Reyes, but he's pretty fast. Daniel Santiago. What was the name of the guy that Michael K. threatened to fire because he made a joke about him or something like that? Santiago. John Tortellini, and then I think this is the beat reporter from NJ.com, Ryan Novozinski. If not, it's a hell of a coincidence. Justin, who are these people?
Hell of a coinky dink. These wonderful people went to patreon.com/talkgiants for $2 a month plus some of the tiers. They get to hang out with us live while we record our Wednesday and our Friday shows. Bobby Skinner was sending some stickers in the mail. And then also there's some shirt raffles a couple times a month. Patreon.com/talkgiants. We appreciate you. You'll be glad you did.
Well, you said Wednesday and Friday, and now it's Tuesday and Friday because we're going back to 2 days a week.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out exactly what we're doing. But we'll be live streaming the episodes.
Yeah. Justin, before we get into all of this, and I feel like I'm hearing something in my headphones, I think they're going to beat the Eagles. The Eagles are playing all their backups. I think they're going to beat them.
Yeah, if that includes Kenny Pickett not playing and Tanner McKee playing, then it's hard pressed to disagree with you.
I know, I was putting together their fantasy draft for today, and I'm like, oh my god, Johnny Wilson and Anais Smith are going to be starting receivers for Tanner McKee, and they're going to have their backup offensive line. What? They're going to win this game, and the Giants aren't sitting any players. So, yeah, I think we're getting ready to have our draft pick slip even further than fourth.
And I think that's the Eagles' goal, to be honest. The Eagles are that petty where, we've heard the reports of Howie Roseman doing so. I forget, do you remember what it is that the Eagles let something happen, or was it the whole 2020 thing? I don't know.
It's a 2020 thing, and then they traded up above them for Devontae Smith because the Giants it was the most well-known thing ever that the Giants wanted Devontae Smith in that draft.
Yeah, so the Eagles, we know the Eagles are petty enough to. Do NFL teams actually think like this? Well, the Philadelphia Eagles do.
Well, in reality, they're just resting their starters,
right?
And it'll end up hurting the Giants.
Yeah, Howie Roseman probably is saying that. A plus of this is if the Giants win, then they fall even further in the draft.
Yeah, and the Giants are not. Whether you guys can go back and forth about your thoughts on that. But the Giants are not going to be resting any of their players. So I do actually expect the Giants to win, sickly enough.
I mean, half their roster's already on IR, so, I mean, what players do you want them to rest?
Yeah. And I don't think Burns is going to rest. I don't think Kayvon's going to rest. Locke is going to be the starter quarterback. Neighbors is going to play. So, we'll see. Justin, but let's talk about Joe Schoen, Brian Daboll, and the dominoes on that. And, we've stated both on the record that we want both of them fired. Mostly Joe Schoen, but obviously Brian Daboll would have to go to that. So this is prediction, not preference. What is your prediction for Joe Schoen, the Joe Schoen part of this?
Joe Schoen stays.
I mean, we have not heard any smoke of him being fired. I believe that he stays as well. I think John Mara simply, when it comes down to it, doesn't want to change the whole GM spot. I think any type of positive that he's talking himself into is just him literally talking himself into, because he simply doesn't want to change the GM position and everything that goes with it. And that's the reason why. And I never want to hear he cares about the losing bothers him more than anybody else, because I call bullshit on that. I think being uncomfortable bothers him more than anything else. So what will make him comfortable is keeping this GM, letting him pick a quarterback and hoping it works out. And then once again, probably firing a guy 2 years too late.
Yeah, and that's why the second part of this question is very important too, because I would rather Brian Daboll stay. And again, this is preference, this isn't prediction. I would rather Brian Daboll stay, because then maybe they get 1 year together, or maybe they get two together.
Well, it's like they get 1 year, really, in reality.
Yeah.
And if it looks good, then they stay. If it looks average, then they stay. If it looks really bad and things don't develop they wanted, then they're both probably out of here.
Right. So I would rather that instead of bringing a new head coach in here and that being bad, and then you get rid of everybody 2 years from now and then making a decision, 24 months from now that you should have made, the 24 months prior.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, what's your prediction on the head coach of Brian Daboll?
I think Brian Daboll's going to go in there and fight for his job and possibly give a vision for the future that maybe coincides with Joe Schoen's future with the quarterback, and this is what I can do, and this is the bad hand that I've been dealt, and even sitting Daniel Jones the second half of the year. But ultimately, I do think Brian Daboll is fired.
So you're predicting he gets fired?
Yes, even though starting on Thursday, January 2nd, the day that we're recording this, I'm starting to get less sure of that. But I still think that he's going to get fired.
Yeah, the closer we get to it without any type of concrete on like a decision as close to being made by John Mara, the more that I think he has a chance. But I also felt this way similarly with Joe Judge in 2021. Now it's extremely different scenarios because the GM is staying and the GM he actually gets along with compared to, a very totally different scenario. But I do think that John Mara is going to have a team that's 4-13 probably, maybe 3-14, and is going to do, history is going to repeat itself. He's going to feel comfortable firing the head coach. I don't know how many meetings they're going to have with Brian Daboll and all that. I think the longer the time goes, the better chance they have of keeping him. But the part of this we don't know yet, Justin, is the fact that if Joe Schoen feels safe, I don't think he's going to go recommending Brian Daboll to be fired. Maybe we're wrong, but I don't think that's going to happen. What is Joe Schoen's reaction going to be to John Mara when he makes, tells him his preference of firing Brian Daboll? So, I'm going to predict he's fired as well. I'm not going to let the last couple days of no news change what I think is going to happen. I'm going to expect Brian Daboll to be fired as well. But I don't feel confident in that at all. Like I feel like we've had a better grasp of these throughout the years of what's going to happen. I don't see it happening, or I don't have a ton of confidence because it's just like we've said, Joe Schoen's the one that deserves to be fired. I think
right.
Brian Daboll deserves to be as well too. But Joe Schoen's the one who really deserves it. So you're going to keep Joe Schoen, split him up with the head coach he hired, and you're going to give Joe Schoen a resume after 3 years of failed head coach, no quarterback, and bad roster. Like where is the redeeming factor in Joe Schoen after 3 years? Okay, you've lost every coaching coordinator. You don't have a quarterback, and your roster is flat out bad. It's a bad roster. No matter how you try and talk about being close, it's a bad roster.
The redeeming factor is Joe Schoen hasn't been given the chance to mess up the quarterback position like Dave Gettleman has. So, like Dave Gettleman did with Daniel Jones.
Sure, but again, he hasn't built a good roster, and that could be, coming down the pipe anyway. So I expect that. So, but here's the thing: if Brian Daboll's retained, we got new information that Mike Kafka has another year left on his contract. So I guess they gave him another year. I was kind of shocked at that when they gave him the assistant head coach. If Brian Daboll's retained, do you expect Mike Kafka to be here?
They would block.
I don't know if they block it 2 years in a row. I would predict him to be gone. I don't think they would do that 2 years in a row.
I don't know what the Giants are thinking. If Brian Daboll stays, Mike Kafka's under contract for the next year. If they block it, obviously Mike Kafka's not going anywhere because Mike Kafka's not getting a head coaching job. So, but if the Giants will not block Mike Kafka making a lateral move, then I also think Mike Kafka's gone 100%.
Yeah. I agree as well too. What about Shane Bowen, the defensive coordinator?
Dude,
I think he stays. I don't think it's one. It hasn't been the biggest issue on this team.
You can't fire him.
The roster, the defensive roster is not talented. When they had Dexter Lawrence, they sure did look a lot better. They did have nice stretches during the year. And Brian Daboll, this is whatever his third, fourth, fifth choice of a defensive coordinator. I don't think he himself trusts that he can go out and get another coordinator. So if Brian Daboll's retained, I believe Shane Bowen gets retained as well. Even though I don't want Shane Bowen to be the defensive coordinator, the options. I think the best option if they fire Shane Bowen would be to take a leap on someone real young that's not prime for a DC position yet. Take a linebacker coach, take a defensive coordinator from college or, something of that nature, which can work out really well. Sometimes it works out brilliantly, but I don't think Brian Daboll's an attractive person to join in his fourth year and trying to get his third defensive coordinator. So I think Shane Bowen would be retained.
I feel like they'll basically pull a Gus Bradley. Well, you'll have the secondary's young. That was the narrative.
And Shane Bowen's a better defensive coordinator than Gus Bradley. There's things that I like about Bowen, and there's things that I don't like.
The Colts had a high sack rate, and it feels similar-ish, where it's the secondary was young. That's why we'll keep this guy around.
Yeah,
I just think
Shane Bowen's a better defensive coordinator than that. I don't think Shane Bowen's a terrible defensive coordinator. I just don't think he's very much of an advantage. I think he gets average results from whatever his talent is. You'll get the mean of that. And there's times where it looks really good when they're stunting and getting, free rushers and stuff. And then there's times where teams can pick up a stunt and teams are picking on your bad cornerback group. So, all right, so that's predictions. So final prediction for me, Joe Schoen stays and Brian Daboll gets fired. If Brian Daboll is retained, I think Mike Kafka is gone and Shane Bowen is retained.
Yeah, it's same thing for me. Shane stays, Daboll goes, Kafka leaves. If Daboll stays, Kafka leaves, and I again reluctantly say that Shane Bowen stays, even though I don't even think Brian Daboll's thrilled with Shane Bowen, to be honest.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they kept Mike Kafka last year for optics' sake. They're definitely going to keep Shane Bowen for optics' sake, so not having to fire a defensive coordinator 1 year in.
Yeah.
And again, a defense coordinator who didn't have a bunch of talent. It's not like this defense had all this talent that was squandered. In fact, when Dexter Lawrence went out is when it really got bad. So that's where it is. All right, before we get into the Toney Award and bring Jolly Olive on, Justin, we do this every year on this episode because we just kind of talk about the Giants. A sincere thank you to anyone who listens to us, supports us. Not the easiest job this year in the world, but also a dream job, right? Driving this morning, think about it. I was like, man, I enjoy working every single day. And part of it is because of the listeners and supporters. If we were doing this and talking to nobody, or there was no, reaction or interaction online or Twitter or whatever, or, people making memes and jokes with us, it wouldn't be as fun. And the listeners make that. And it's also, this is partly a plea that stay on with us for the offseason. We attack the offseason differently. We're not going to do a mailbag every week talking about what the Giants should do at quarterback. We'll certainly talk about that. We'll interview reporters, but we're going to do a Senior Bowl week. We're going to do pending free agents for the Giants, free agency preview. We're going to try and make every episode different instead of just talking about the Giants' need for quarterback over and over and over again. And we're going to talk about every position in the draft. We're not going to just talk about quarterback for a month straight before the draft. We'll do draft live streams. So I think the offseason is unfortunately the most fun because the Giants aren't losing games, so they don't get to take the joy away from it. But very, very much appreciate the listeners for making this all worth it and making year 6 of Talking Giants a fun year, regardless of the Giants' piss-poor record.
No, this was a good year for us, especially considering just how bad the Giants are, and frankly, just how kind of disinterested a lot of the fan base is. But what's awesome about, even though the Giants as a fan base are disinterested in the team, it's that people were still able to rally around us, and that's really freaking cool. So I want to thank everybody that listens here, even over on JM Football. We'll cover around the NFL too if you like that kind of stuff. We had a lot of fun. The tailgates we took to another level this year by getting some sponsors added onto it. If you were there at the tailgates, you were able to saw it. You were able to really see it.
And they saw it in that. Yeah, the tailgates. I'll say this, Justin, from the outside looking in, I was only at one.
Yeah.
Last year was a little disappointed with tailgates because there wasn't like the consistency of the food, and then the price was high. This year, I thought tailgates looked amazing every single time. People were taken care of. The price went down to $25. I was very excited for tailgates this year. I think you guys did a great job with that part, and it is a big part of what we do as well.
And it'll only get bigger and better if the team wins a little bit more. And I'm not even saying a lot. I'm not even saying 10, 11, 12, 13 games. But if they win...
Give us 7. How about that?
If they're just average, then maybe we'll have tailgates until the end of the year, or we'll have 1 or 2 watch parties, which, we had a watch party this year for the freaking Seahawks game, and that was the last time that they won like a significant game this year, right? So if the team is good, we're going to get bigger, we're going to get better, and it's all because of everybody that listens to this that we're able to get bigger, better, and even when the team isn't that good, everybody rides and dies with us, and we really appreciate that. Wouldn't be here without you. And
we need to get this show bigger because I was running through numbers and stuff today, Justin, and it reminded me that we did an episode from we had the same episode, was us in a hotel room in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And also in Boomer and Gio's studio interviewing Tiki Barber. And I'm like, we gotta live out the traveling Talking Giants. We've recorded in 8 states. We need to do all 50. So we need the show to be big enough to create the budget for that. How about that?
Well, we're going to Ohio this year, so.
Or oh yeah. We're going to Ohio this year for Canton because if Eli Manning doesn't make the Super Bowl, the Hall of Fame, we'll harm individuals. We'll harm enough individuals until we have the right voters into the Hall of Fame. So maybe we get an RV company to sponsor us or something. All right, Justin. Let's take a break. Or why don't you actually, you know what? Let's not take a break. Why don't you talk to us about something?
I will talk to you about something. And speaking of people that have been riding and dying with us all year, how about Captain Morgan? Remember Bobby Skinner throwing around a glass bottle around my head during training camp? Yeah, that's how long Captain Morgan's been with us this year. And they're going to be with us even throughout 2025 too, which is great. Today's episode is sponsored by Captain Morgan, the official spiced rum of the NFL. The NFL season where legends are born on and off the field.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Darius Slayton is your 2025 Good Guy Award. The media has declared him good.
Congratulations to Darius Slayton. I guess we could talk more about that.
Maybe we'll get him a bottle of Captain Morgan to celebrate.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I could do that. Summer of last second plays. Legends are born on and off the field this NFL season. And some are last second plays that turn the tide and change a team's destiny, while others are our friends who follow the captain from within them to make a regular get-together into the stuff of legends. So grab your crew, grab a captain, Darius Slayton, and a cola, and make it a story to remember because legends start when you follow the captain. Visit followthecaptain.com for more. Please drink responsibly. Captain Morgan Original Spice Rum, 35% alcohol by volume. Captain Morgan Rum Company in New York, New York. You will be glad you did. Congratulations to Darius Slayton on winning the Media Good Guy Award. You're a good person, Darius Slayton, which he actually is, though.
Hey, we got to do the Toney Award, which goes hand in hand with that. Let's bring on Jolly Olive. All right, we now welcome on Jolly Olive for weather and trivia. But first, we have the fourth annual, not sure if you're a good person, but Best Giants Reporter Award presented by Kadarius Toney, presented by Talking Giants, which it says it in the title. We don't care if you're a good person. You could be the worst person alive, but do you do a good job reporting on the Giants? You could be a columnist. You can be a beat reporter. You can be whoever, Justin. And a little history of this. 2021, Dan Duggan won the original. 2022, Arch Stapleton won. And then 2023, last year, Ryan Dunleavy of the New York Post won. He is ineligible. I also changed the voting, where last year it was 25% Patreon, 25% me, Justin, and Danny. The Patreon is accountable for 50%, myself and Justin, 25% of it. Excited to announce it. Justin, do you remember what inspired this award?
Well, Kadarius Toney in front of the media just was awesome. So that was partially.
The best media we'll never ever get media sessions like Kadarius Toney ever again, number one. Number two, but it's just very funny to me that the media award is called the Good Guy Award, because it's just like the media, they believe that they are the deciders of good and evil, not God, the New York Giants beat reporters.
It's the George Young Good Guy Award, all right? Giants legend, Hall of Famer.
Darius Slayton won the Good Guy Award. Some people thought he was evil for those drop passes. Turns out he's actually a pretty good guy. So we'll get it. We'll figure it out. Are you Jolly? I'll ask you this, Jolly. What would your first or third place ballot be? Because you don't get any participation in this.
Wow.
I guess I would probably put Jordan first, because he hasn't. If I'm correct, he hasn't won yet, right?
No. Correct, but that shouldn't take any.
But
part
I do
of
think that matters. Like, I think people like a first-time winner, so that influences my vote a little bit. Second, I guess I would put Dan, because he was recently on the show and he's a good listen. And then third, I guess Art.
Okay.
I feel like that's a decent amount of people's vote. All right, so let's get into it. So there was a possible 24 points in this, and we'll talk about this. This was the closest vote for the fans in the history of the Toney Award. And I was genuinely surprised by the results, and I'll tell you before the winner, Justin, I didn't have any conviction on my ballot this year. I decided, since last year we put our thumbs on the scale a little bit, I'm going with the listeners' ballot. So whatever the listeners put out there, I was putting out there. I wanted to put it back in their hands. We got rid of Danny King's portion and doubled the listeners' portion. So with 5 of the possible 24 points on this, of the New York Daily News, third place twice in a row, Pat Leonard wins third place for the 2024 Toney Award. A lot of people don't think he's a good person, right? But they are, playing by the meaning. I actually think the guy who wins, people don't think is a good person. All right, so for second place, his second year in a row winning second place as well, the inaugural winner of The Athletic, Dan Duggan. Congratulations to Dan Duggan of The Athletic.
Good report.
Which means, and again, the closest vote ever, with 12 of the 24 points, he got all the first place ballots between myself, Justin, and the listeners. First time winner, ESPN's own Jordan Renan. Congrats to Jordan Renan for winning the 4th annual, not sure if you're a good person, but Best Giants Reporter Award presented by Kadarius Toney, presented by Talking Giants. Justin, I wanted Jordan to never win this award, just because I do like Jordan, and it'd be funny just to him never to actually get the award.
And particularly, I wanted him to finish in second place.
Yeah,
every year.
And he got really close in 2022. But you remember what ruined it for him? When Danny King reported that Ben Bredesen and Nick Gates would be rotating snaps,
he didn't give
him credit.
Danny
King reported that, and Jordan Renan did not credit him. And his mentions got blown up, and he still never did it. Wow. That literally was the difference between him winning and losing.
Took him 2 years to get over that.
Because that was all fan vote that year, too, right? But we didn't have our own part of that. So he lost. So congrats to Jordan of ESPN for winning. So I thought for sure, Justin, Dan Duggan was going to win this, right? He won the fan vote last year. He won the inaugural, and I was going to go with the fan vote, but Jordan actually won. Jordan got 33.5%. of all the points, and then Dan Duggan got 31.6%. Pat Leonard got 13.1, and then the rest, filled out the rest. I was kind of pretty. Again, I was surprised for the first time.
I'm really happy for Jordan. Got the monkey off his back. Jordan's a good dude. I know that's not what this award is, but Jordan
it's literally the opposite of it.
But Jordan,
here's the thing: is
nice
I want someone that's vying to get their first one. Like who's next on the first one? I thought new Patreon Ryan Novozinski could be next year's riser.
Mm-hmm.
That could be one because Ryan Dunleavy came out of nowhere. So we'll see. I'm predicting that Dan ends up getting that 2-time next year, but we'll see.
That's fair.
So what? Again, my ballot was the same as the listeners. Jordan first, Duggan second, Pat Leonard third. What was your ballot, Justin?
That was my ballot. I had the same ballot. I had Jordan 1.
No.
Duggan 2nd.
You had Pat Leonard second.
Oh, yes. I changed my mind. I had Jordan first, Pat Leonard second, and Dan Duggan third. Pat Leonard also... I mean, everybody's mostly nice to us. Pat Leonard was nice to us this year.
He
and
was.
Jordan was particularly very nice to me this year. So, yeah.
Yeah, part of it, again, it's not about being a good person, and you could be a bad person and suck up to us, but part of that is it. Because the listeners like people who kiss our ass.
Gotta kiss our ass a little bit.
Yeah. Justin, should I go through
I will say, hold on. I'm going to interrupt you. I will say, Jordan Ronan, like for all the people that want to say that he's a bad dude and he's a bad guy, Jordan Ronan so much publicly didn't really kiss our ass this year. I mean, he had Bobby on a couple times. He never had me on Breaking Big Blue. It's fine.
He's a bad guy.
Had Bobby on a couple times. His show. I've never been on. But Jordan,
you have been on. We did it in the van. Remember?
Oh, that's right. But that was like a long time ago. It was 2 years ago. But Jordan, anytime that I've been in public with like the reporters or the Giants or anything, and that's not often that I'm like in that kind of scene and in that kind of world. Jordan has been very, very nice to me, and he didn't have to be, and he doesn't have to be because he's big time ESPN, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Should I go through the entire votes in order, Justin? And how we do is first place gets 3 points, second place ballot gets 2 points, and then third place 1, and then that's it.
I thought that's how you were going to start because there's a certain last place finisher.
Well, here's the thing I will say,
year.
because someone's going to be last place in this. There's no shame in being last place and getting 1 point total. There's no shame in it. Like, I don't want anyone to feel bad about that. So, like, just being on this list. So, again, Jordan Renan first, Dan Duggan second, Pat Leonard third. Healthy top 5 this year. Arch Stapleton got 4th, former winner. Patricia Traina, 5th. Charlotte Carroll 6th, Ryan Novozinski, a newcomer 7th. Again, I think him coming on the show, training camp is going to be a great opportunity for him to set himself apart.
Oh, yeah.
And get a chance, because people always love a newcomer. Paul Schwartz, Daryl Slater, Tom Rock, Jay Glazer got in there. Danny King and Justin Penik both got a couple points, even though
nice.
I didn't get any. And then last place was Giant Insider. And listen, they have finished last place four times in a row, and I know people like to make jokes about that, but I actually commend them because they've been consistent. Like some people haven't made this list every single year, Justin.
Bobby didn't get a vote.
Yeah, I didn't even get a vote, Giant Insider, so don't be mad that you finished last place. So congratulations to last place, Giant Insider, and congratulations to first place. And then there's some new people like, why is Kadarius Toney? And every year when we do this, people say you got to change the name of it. It's like, are you out of your fucking mind?
What are we changing it to?
This is never going to change. Like, this award will go past our deaths, and we will make sure it'll be in our wills. Do not change the name of this award, and we'll give detailed reasons why. It'll never change from that. So, excited. So, all right, it's just now comes the campaign for next year, Justin.
Here we go.
Who's your favorite for next year?
Charlotte.
I'm gonna go hit her coworker Dan. I think Dan Duggan's the favorite, with Ryan Novozinski maybe winning newcomer of the year, even though it'll be his second year. But Novo got burned because he missed training camp. Training camp is the best place to set yourself apart from just putting out the basic news and then writing stories.
Yeah, and you got to come in the van with us. So
yeah, getting in the van, exposure, to the listeners is part of it too. So we'll see. All right, Justin. Now that we got that over, congrats, Jordan Renan. It's time for the final trivia of the year. Justin, have you decided your jersey? I told you to decide who your jersey will be, so you need to decide in the next few seconds. Don't say it, because if you lose, you don't get to say it.
Okay, I have my jersey.
Okay. Jolly, let's do the final trivia of the year.
Before we do that, it's going to be in the mid-30s, sunny skies in
what's weather looking like,
There will
Jolly?
be some decent winds during the game. The snow will come after the game. I just want to address, yes.
Yeah, you
my
guys
report
have
last
such
week.
ignorance on plane aviation. Like, you don't just get to fly randomly.
First off, that's what I was going to say. My forecast, absolutely incorrect. I own up to that. But I did end the forecast report by saying that it would be safe to fly over MetLife. And me and Penik were there, and it was certainly safe for planes.
It's very sunny.
Okay,
So-
you guys were there for the game. NFL rules, you cannot fly over less than 1 hour before kickoff. So 1 hour before kickoff, I saw those clouds. That you were not flying in that weather.
The question was it safe? And I still think it was.
I think it was safe to fly.
I think you guys are just ignorant to plane aviation.
Tom
This is
Cruise
something-
would have done it.
Tom Cruise would have done it.
Yeah.
Well,
You should
have to
always
have
think,
some-
what would Tom Cruise do?
Are you talking about Sully?
No, I'm talking about Maverick.
Oh.
Sully, that's Tom Hanks.
I thought you guys were mixing it up, but I actually mixed it up.
Sully crashed.
Sully did crash. It wasn't safe for Sully to
Tom
fly.
Cruise doesn't crash.
Sully did not crash. He landed very gracefully in the Hudson River.
It was a gentle
Crash
crash.
landed in the water.
That's the greatest, flight of all time.
I think we're pulling hairs here. I think we're
Do
pulling.
you ever believe the conspiracy theory that he crashed it on purpose for national fame?
So then
Dude,
Tom Hanks could have a movie on
everything
him?
is a fucking conspiracy. Have you seen the Sky King guy? The video of the Sky King, Jolly?
I can't
I
say I,
know-
have.
Oh, look it up. It's a guy who just like worked luggage, just stole a plane and was like doing barrel rolls.
Oh yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go.
This is huge.
That's sick.
It's crazy. He's like
Wow.
they're asking him, like, have you ever flown before? He's like, I play video games, so I kind of like. He was doing insane. He obviously ended up taking it down. So it's a sad story, but it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, there's a Wendigoon video on it, and I like him, so I'll watch that later. The tragic tale of Sky King, not a happy tale. The tragic tale.
Just listen to the audio. Jolly, what do we got for the final trivia of the year?
So I promised to leave a window for Justin Penik to possibly make a comeback. So this week's trivia answer does have 8 possible
8.
points.
This is
That
bullshit.
correct.
That means nothing
8.
matters all year long. It's just the last
First
one.
of all, one, you already sound so insecure about your knowledge. on the
yeah.
situation,
It's just
Bobby.
all right. Whatever the gap
Jeez.
is, it's just whatever
Jeez.
wins last week.
My goodness. Okay, are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Let me get let me get 2 sheets of paper to write down all the possibilities.
No, you're gonna text me like you always do. Come on now.
I don't know if I have that much data on my phone.
It's 8 names.
That's actually a fair point.
Relax with that. All right, I'm putting a minute on the clock, Bobby. I trust that you'll send at the end of the minute because I know it's not going to come in immediately. You're states away. But you, no excuses.
I know.
A minute on the clock. There are 8 players since 2010 that have played a full season's worth of games for both the Giants and the Eagles.
A full
Name
season's
as-
worth. So let's just say Saquon out of this.
16 games. So, with that being said, you have a minute on the clock. Go.
Full season on the Giants and the Eagles. This is since 2010.
Since 2010.
Oh, I don't know if this is gonna do.
I'm going to do so terrible on this. I'm blanking right now.
Don't panic.
I am panicked.
It's so tense.
There's one.
Can feel the tension.
This sucks.
Why are you so upset?
Because I can't get any of these. I'm totally blanking on this.
It's a soft minute. All right, 20 seconds on the clock, boys.
Oh, Jim, I don't know.
Every single one that you say, it's going to drive me nuts because I'm
10,
totally blanking here.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pencils down. Send me your message now, please. Thank you.
That wasn't long enough. Even though a minute of basically
It's not
silence.
supposed. Listen,
A minute of basically silence for people
This is
listening
such
at home is not.
a joke of an ending to trivia.
truth or false? You guys said you wanted a different style of trivia question before the show. Yes.
This is true. I do like this question. Even though
I
I don't
wanted
think I
to
did
have
very
like
well.
4 options.
Okay. Bobby, is that all you're submitting? That's all you got?
All I can pull from is like recent ones. Yeah, I got 3.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! Hold on, one more.
Oh wow! I don't know, Jim.
Jim?
All right, I got 4.
Ah, well, some of my my guess
All right,
doesn't have
everyone,
16
pencils
games.
down.
All right, my
Gentlemen.
phone's down. I'm checking my answers.
Okay. So we're gonna go through Penik's list first. You said Saquon Barkley. He does not qualify. He hasn't played a full season for the
Did you
Eagles yet.
literally listen to the beginning of this, Justin?
So he does not qualify.
He played 16 games.
Full season's worth.
You said 16 games.
I have one that I know for sure, and the other 3 I'm not sure if they had full seasons.
Nick Gates also didn't get a full season.
Yeah, I know. I know. I was
Okay.
just naming Giants and Eagles.
Okay. Neither did Golden Tate. Neither did Steve Smith.
Correct.
So,
Kenny Phillips.
Kenny Phillips. I'm checking, but he's not on my list here. I'm cross-checking all your answers to be sure, because this is the last trivia.
I mean,
of the year.
I could go 0 here.
You don't have the list in front of you, Jolly?
I do have the list. I'm cross-checking just to make sure. Kenny Phillips not on my list, and so now Penik is only eligible for 1 point.
Oh, wow.
And
I'm gonna win the
he
jersey.
did not get a single correct answer. Justin Penik.
I did successfully name multiple Giants and Eagles, just not ones that played for a
I
whole
did
season.
4, and I accidentally typed Ruben Randall instead of Steve Smith, even though
Right,
I
Steve
knew
Smith
Steve
wasn't
Smith didn't
eligible.
play a full year.
Bobby was the only one that got a correct answer. Correct answer was James Bradbury.
Wow.
Jack
Bradbury.
Anderson didn't have a full season with the Eagles?
Jack Anderson did not have a full season with the Eagles.
I think you're totally wrong. I think you're totally off base here.
I mean, you already won.
Jack Anderson has, by my count, 2 games with the Eagles.
Well, 2 games where he got in the game, but he was on the roster the entire year.
The correct answers: James Bradbury, Deion Lewis,
Oh.
Connor Barwin,
Oh, fuck.
Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, Cullen Jenkins, Dallas Reynolds, and Mike Patterson.
I'm mad about the Connor Barwin.
I thought four of those were in the realm of
Yeah, mad about Connor
gettable
Barwin.
possibility.
Yeah,
Left it
totally
open
forgot
to
about
7.
Connor Barwin.
Right, left it open to 7 to make sure that there was a chance for Penik to come back. But Bobby, you are the inaugural winner of the Talking Giants Trivia Gauntlet, and you will get a Giants jersey of your choosing, courtesy of me.
You have the jersey?
You should have said games like that they played. Tyree Jackson was on the Eagles for a full season, Jack Anderson. But I still win. So here, I'm going to do this. I got really drunk at a Bucs Saints game in like 2013, and I wore my Giants Eli Manning jersey because I'm like, I'm not going to wear any of these team stuff. It was really freaking hot, so I took off my Eli Manning jersey and forgot it in the stadium. So I would like just a basic blue Eli Manning jersey.
Oh, that's a really nice pick.
Yeah, I need to have an Eli jersey. I haven't bought one since I lost that 10 years ago.
I'm very happy. I was expecting like Toney or something like that, or something out of left field. That's a very nice pick.
No, it's just I don't have an Eli Manning jersey anymore.
Perfect.
And I should have every Giants fan should have an Eli Manning jersey. So
Sure. Can I tell you what I was going to ask
What
for?
were you? Yeah, tell me what you asked for.
I was going to ask for Marcus Golden.
You know what? I'm glad Bobby won them.
Yeah.
yeah, that's you would have made him just waste money on a bid.
It's not a bit.
That's
I love
his
him.
friend. That's his friend.
It's a good friend of mine.
Bobby, congratulations. Great showing all year, Bobby. Very impressive.
Thank you. And speaking of great showings, time for the fantasy draft. How about that? All right, so final one of year. Jolly, good news for you. You beat what was the previous scoring record for the season in the individual with 56.5 points. You beat my 55 points from a couple weeks before. Bad news is that I broke that with 62.8 points.
Neighbors.
So
I know Penik had neighbors. Never mind.
with the final one, I have 665 points. I need 5 points to break the scoring average, so I think I'll get that. Justin is still in second place because he had a good outing with 45 points. He's 80.9 points back, so I've won. Jolly's 83.5 points back, so you guys are separated by less than 3 points for second place. So And it just so happens we're about ready to have the worst one of the year because the Eagles aren't playing any of their starters. So, Justin, you are first this week.
It's a great week to have the first pick.
Give me Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, that's a
Wow.
huge advantage.
Just stumbled into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Giants, they got to go out there and show some Giants pride and win for the culture. So, Justin gets to pick Malik
Giants
Neighbors
pride.
first overall. All right, Jolly, you have the second pick. I don't know who I'm rooting for, but Jolly, who's the second pick?
I'm rooting for Jolly.
It's been a long chase. I'd like to catch you at the end,
I'm rooting for you.
I forget. I want to pull up one of those old emails.
Here's the thing: is Jolly's going to win spread picks
was.
most likely. I'd kind of like him to finish last place here.
Relax with that. It's crazy. I'm gonna because I think it's Barkley, Brown, and Smith all aren't playing, so I guess I'm just gonna take Tyrone Tracy.
Damn, you guys are really going to the big board.
But I'm down to one last breath.
All right, so I'm going to go back to back. We could keep it simple. I'm going to go Kenneth Gainwell.
Sure.
Out of Memphis.
Will Shipley.
And then I'll go Wan'Dale Robinson.
Damn. I need
Just
you to let
take
Wan'Dale follow
like
me.
some easy points. Make sure I break the scoring record. So Kenny Gainwell and Wan'Dale Robinson. Jolly, your second pick.
I would have felt really good about getting Wan'Dale. Oh God. I'll stick with my Giants. I don't trust. Who the hell is even playing quarterback for the Eagles this week? It's not Pickett.
It's Tanner McKee.
Tanner McKee. It's Stanford.
Sure. It's an NPC name. It's not real. Darius Slayton will be my next pick.
Not a bad pick. Even though he got the touchdown last week, he's averaging like 1.1 catch per game since Daniel.
I know.
Jones
I just need him to find the end zone again if he can.
Yeah. Justin, you got back-to-back picks here.
Yeah. Now, here's my issues. I don't fully know the Eagles' depth chart that well.
Well, that's why you look it up beforehand.
Wow, get his ass. Oh my God.
Theory.
Torch him.
It's a good theory, Bobby Skinner. Who are these names? I guess I should take a Giant.
Yeah. Take Jalen Hyatt.
I maybe could. Devin Singletary.
Ah, damn it.
And I have back-to-back picks. Johnny Wilson.
Johnny Wilson.
It's crazy.
I had like not viral, but like a tweet making fun of him at the senior. That was just like he's a DB highlight reel, and then people were like, "That's so fucking disrespectful."
And there goes day 3 of the draft, late day 3.
Yeah, in the way too early mocks 2 years ago, he was projected to the Giants in the first round in like 2 of the 4 that I looked at.
Yeah.
He's a big old dude. All right, Jolly, your third pick.
I'll take John Dotson because he's going to be wide receiver 1.
Yeah, so. I'm surprised you guys haven't taken him before. I'm surprised Justin didn't take him over Johnny Wilson. But maybe he's a don't play guy, even though he's a starter. But I think he'll probably play. So I have back-to-back picks. So I'm going to assume that Grant Calcaterra is going to play. If not, I can trade it out of SMU. He's been taken way too many times in fantasy drafts. And then, you know what? I'm going to take a big swing since I've already won the title. I'm going to go Anais Smith, the rookie wide receiver out of Texas A&M. They'll probably get him a bunch of manufactured touches. So I'm going to go Anais Smith with the final pick. Jolly, your final pick of the year.
Now, there's a world where Dallas Goedert could play.
Oh, no.
Because he practiced this week.
No.
There's a world.
Do you want to know a funny story about
If
Dallas
you
Goedert?
take him, you need to be ready to send in a trade because I'm not.
Right. And my trade would be Jalen Hyatt. So I feel safe in that. Unless you take Jalen Hyatt like a jerk. He's my guy. So yeah, I'll take Dallas Goedert, and then I'm prepared to swap him if need be.
I feel like I'm not sure if this guy's going to play. He's dealing with the concussion, but he may play this week, Justin. I feel like there's a good value pick here that you could take and trade him if he doesn't play.
Somebody is dealing with the concussion.
Why does Penik get all the hints?
He's a white boy
He's a white boy.
who doesn't play a white boy position.
He doesn't play the white boy position.
Just take Will Shipley.
Yeah,
I would like to
I
take,
figured that one out.
I would like to take Will Shipley, please.
But like to use him in the past. Listen, be ready
I'll
to
trade
trade.
for
I don't
Jalen.
want to have to bug you guys about that shit on Sunday. All right, so the finale, I have Kenneth Gainwell, Wan'Dale Robinson, Grant Calcaterra, and then Anais Smith. That sounds so terrible to say.
Will that get you 5 points?
Justin, who?
You still need 5 points, right? Will that get you 5 points? There's a
I mean,
world.
I have their starting running back and the slot wide receiver. I think I'll be all right.
Okay.
Justin has Malik Neighbors, Devin Singletary, and Johnny Wilson and Will Shipley. And then Jolly, less than 3 points behind him, Tyrone Tracy, Darius Slayton, Jahan Dotson, and Dallas Goedert.
I think I like my team.
All right. It's time for Giant Factors, where we give our X Factors for the game. I have a petition. Is any one of your guys a receiver?
No.
I thought about.
Please don't use a wide receiver that I might have, that you could think I might take in this situation.
You're taking Slayton.
Most likely. All right, well, I was going to go with another receiver.
Okay, go ahead.
No,
Justin,
I don't
you're
want.
up first.
I don't want to double up on receiver. I like touching different positions.
Easy
It's
with
the
that.
week 18. Dude, no one's listening to this part.
Malik
but
Neighbors,
now they're-
dude. Malik Neighbors. Go out there, ball out. You had a great rookie year. Fun fact: the Eagles are our rivals. We're supposed to compete with them in the division called the NFC East. That's where the Giants play. It's where they attempt to play football. So it would be cool if Malik Neighbors has a good game against the Eagles. Be a Giant factor. Malik Neighbors, best player on the team.
Here's some trivia, Jolly. When's the last time the Giants won a game in Philadelphia?
In Philadelphia?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. 2021?
Nope.
Didn't they win?
I'll
No,
give
that
you
was
another
at
guess.
MetLife. So then I'm going to go all the way back to 07.
2013.
Somewhere in the middle.
Dude, we won 2 Super Bowls. We could win a game in Philly in that time period.
I don't believe it.
So yeah, might happen. Jolly, who's your Giant factor for Week 18?
Mine is Tyrone Tracy. Oh, Saquon Barkley not getting the rushing record. That means you're the best running back on the field in this game, Tyrone
Yeah.
Tracy. Go out
That's
there
a
and be
good
a
narrative.
star. Go show them that the Giants are not worse for wear by letting Saquon go, because that's been a big narrative, and it's one that I think all of us collectively have not agreed with, because Saquon wouldn't be having the season he's having on the New York Giants. Tyrone Tracy, go out there and be a star.
If they backload the cap, he wouldn't be having the season, but he'd be obviously better than Tracy. But yeah.
Yeah, of course. No one's denying that.
All right, my Giant factor, I'm going to get a little sentimental because this could be his final game as a Giant. There's not many pending free agents on the Giants that are going to get any money, but the one guy who will, his name's Darius Slayton. He's been here for 6 years, was a 5th-round draft pick out of Auburn in 2019, and made an impact from his first time getting on the field Week 3 against Tampa Bay and Daniel Jones' first start. So don't know if he's going to play. He's had a solid Giants career. He's 18th in Giants receiving. He has an opportunity to go to 17th in this one, which doesn't sound like anything crazy, but Giants, this is their 100th year anniversary. He's been one of the top 20 receivers, receiving yards for that team as well. And, we think of guys that we like. I mean, Sterling Shepard, right? His whole thing last year. Slayton has 198 yards less than him as a New York Giant. So maybe he's back, maybe he's not. He's been a frustrating player at time with the drops. It'll be what he's remembered by, but I'll remember him as a good 5th-round pick. If you're not here, we'll see you. Maybe you'll be my Week 1 Giant factor next year, but Week 18 Giant factor, Darius Slayton, be a Giant factor. All right, it's time for spread picks. But before we get into them, Jolly, who are spread picks brought to us by?
They are brought to us by the DraftKings Sportsbook. Grab your favorite team's jersey and some snacks and head to the couch for another Sunday of action-packed football, the last Sunday before the playoffs, and get even closer to the action each Sunday with our partners at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, all new customers who bet just $5 will get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you use code WORLD. And don't forget to stay in on the action and use that bonus bet money on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Download their app, use code WORLD only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. You will be glad that you did.
Jalen Milroe declared for the NFL draft.
Yeah, crazy.
Justin.
I disagree with that decision for him, but go ahead.
I disagree.
Hey, we'll be talking about him on the QB draft preview. I'll do a film review
is
on his
he?
ass.
He's not. Is he a junior or a senior?
He had another year of eligibility, I believe.
So I mean, he may go to that's a guy that should go to the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, senior. You don't have to be a senior. I hope Cam Ward goes. If Cam Ward goes, it'll be worth it for us to get up at 4 a.m. to do interviews. All right, spread picks. Jolly in his first year is in first place at 72-62. Justin in second is at 68-66. So it's possible that Justin wins this, but it'll be tough. And then myself and the listeners are tied for third, so we need to not tie We are both at 61 and 73. Obviously, my worst season. First game of the year. Justin, can I give you a little advice from last place?
Yeah, I'm interested to hear this.
Don't try and beat Jolly. Try and go above 500. Because if you try and beat Jolly, you're gonna try and take 6 different games, and you're probably gonna go 2-4 in those 6 different games.
And I don't know if it's fully worth it this weekend.
I don't think so. There's just some crazy spreads.
Just go with what you believe. Don't because going over 500 is more important than a last second grasp at the title. We got Browns at Ravens minus 17.5, baby. The listener is represented by Joe Lagrippo, is going Browns plus 17.5. And myself, who's tied with the listeners, I'm agreeing with them. I'm going Browns as well. Jolly, who you got?
Do you know who's starting at QB for the Browns this week?
DTR, baby. The worst starting quarterback in the NFL.
No. Bailey Zappi.
What? When did this happen?
Adam Schefter announced this 15 minutes ago. Bailey Zappi will start in Saturday.
That actually gives them... All right, now I feel way more confident in my pick.
I was going to go Ravens because DTR is so bad, but I half believe in Bailey Zappi just a little bit more, so I will go Browns with this massive spread to cover.
Thanksgiving. Justin, who do you got?
Ravens.
Yeah, you got to. You got to.
And I'm not picking them just because Jolly picked Browns.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you go first on the next one, Justin, because I know you got skin in the game. Bengals at Steelers plus 2. Who do you got?
Bengals. My narrative.
Yeah, you got it.
Will probably finally die.
I got the Bengals as well. I think they're going to win this game, and then I think they're just going to live in torment as the Broncos dismantle the Chiefs' backups. I'm going Bengals. The listeners agree. Jolly, is it a clean sweep?
No, I'll defer. I'll go Steelers here. They still have something to play for, and I like that defense a lot.
Saints at Bucks minus 13.5. The Bucks make the playoffs if they win this game. I'm going the Bucks to cover this spread. I think they beat the shit out of them. I like this Bucks team a lot. Bucks minus 13.5. Listeners agree. Justin, do you agree?
Yes, I do.
Jolly.
Clean sweep here. I will take the Bucks. Yeah.
All right. Next game, we got the other game. So if the Bucks lose that game and the Falcons win this one, they'll win. Panthers at Falcons minus 8. Jolly, who do you got?
Panthers got pantsed last week. I don't really believe in the Falcons, but I do think they'll win this game by 10 points. I'll take the Falcons.
Justin,
I like the Panthers covering. I like the Panthers covering, maybe even winning this game.
I think the Panthers are going to surprise win this game. Surprise, surprise. I think they're going to win this game.
Some fries, surprise.
Purely for our... Never mind. The listeners agree as well, so Jolly out on an island on this one. Chiefs at Broncos minus 10.5. Carson Wentz goes to play Bo Nix. The listeners are going Chiefs plus 10. I'm going Broncos minus 10.5. Jolly, who do you got?
This one's tough for me because Chiefs have devil magic. And I feel Broncos implosion coming right at the end.
Would be fun.
It would be really funny, man.
And we're all rooting for the Bengals to get in there. Like maybe Roger Goodell uses some of his devil magic to make the Broncos lose as well.
Yeah, I'll take Chiefs to cover. I don't know if they'll win, but I think they'll cover.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to cover as well, but it requires that, if we want Bengals Joe Burrow magic in the playoffs, it requires this next game for a certain team to lose.
Tyler Huntley and the Miami Dolphins travel to MetLife Stadium. Maybe Aaron Rodgers' last game in the NFL. I'm sure he won't drag that out for the offseason. I'm going Jets plus 1. The listeners are going Dolphins minus 1. I know Tyler Huntley beat the Browns. I don't think that he can beat any other team with this Dolphins team. Jolly, who do you got?
I'll go Dolphins here. The Jets looked so lifeless last week, and Rodgers is just playing awfully. So I'll go Dolphins.
Justin.
I'll go Jets. Could be a big swing game for me.
Maybe they bench Aaron Rodgers at halftime. Like, yeah, you're not coming back, and Tyrod Taylor plays. Chargers at Raiders plus 5. I'm going Chargers minus 5. Listeners going Chargers minus 5. Justin, who do you got?
Chargers.
Me as well. Clean sweep.
All right. The only game that will be enjoyable to watch this week. Bengals Steelers, Bobby.
Yeah.
Vikings at Lions minus 2.5. Listeners are going Lions minus 2.5. Jolly, who do you got?
I'm picking what I want to happen, which is the Lions win and they get the 1 seed because they've been the 1 seed and they are the top team in my mind. So Lions minus 2.5.
I'm agreeing with you. Justin, you and Jolly have disagreed on exactly 4 matchups.
Wow.
So if you don't disagree here, you cannot get a sole title,
Then you gotta.
but you also could listen to my advice. What is your moral dilemma telling you? I actually know
Who'd you
your
pick?
pick because we did this
I
on
picked the
Football Today,
Lions.
though.
So you're doing Vikings?
I think the Vikings are going to win the game.
I want to shake your hand.
I want to shake your hand.
This is good for content.
Great for content. Great for content.
Good for content.
I tried to shake your hand a little longer.
I know
than,
you did. I pulled away.
Yeah.
I don't know where the hand's been.
It's Jimmy Carter on a plane.
R.I.P.
Score predictions for the final Giants game of the season. Jolly Olive, you correctly predicted a victory last week. People haven't forgotten that either. Did you get any tweets about that?
I got a couple. I
Yeah.
mean, Penik was mostly the shield for me because of what he said about the
I said, you know what? Good.
That was so.
And then you
that made me laugh.
doubled
Though.
down. Whereas mine, I felt like was a little more in jest. I feel like most people picked up on that, but I got some angry tweets.
I mean, you just tweeted out a stat.
It's a stat,
The
but it was
stat
in
was-
jest.
the
It was
stat
one
was-
game. It was a one-game sample.
You were 1-0. You're 1-0.
But now it's a
now
thing.
you're 2-0.
You know how Bobby's thing was that he never lost at MetLife? This is now my thing.
Yeah.
I'm never going to
the
lose the last
final
game of the
home
year.
game of every season.
If I'm there, they're winning.
You're 2-0.
Yeah,
You are the culture.
I'm the culture. That's what they're trying to build me.
Yeah. Trying to build Jolly Olive.
Eagles win 20-7. Giants
Oh.
protect the tank.
Oh no.
Hey, Jolly, I want to say, good job first year as a weatherman.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, I think
man.
you did a great job.
I appreciate that, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm really thankful.
Thanks
for you.
everyone for listening and supporting. It's been nice.
If I didn't win trivia today, I may have held a.
I was
extreme grudge.
worried when you heard the question and had that reaction. I was like, oh, if he loses.
And I actually wanted to win the jersey. I was like, I'm gonna get an Eli Manning
And it's
jersey.
a good jersey pick. Someone did point out in chat that it would have been very easy for me to get a Marcus Golden like DHgate jersey for like $30, and I did process that economically. But I do think that Bobby's pick is better.
I mean, we'll order off of Asia. It's fine.
We'll expensify it.
Make sure it's signed, please. Yeah, expensify it. Put in expensify. Let's push the limits.
Let's just
New
see.
year.
New me.
Justin, what's your score prediction for the final game of the year?
I actually think the Giants are going to win this game.
Oh my God.
20-17.
Stop doing this.
They're gonna win. I thank you again to the listeners for being with us this year. We will be live after the game, so make sure to come and join and hang out with us for the whole off season. But getting a little emotional because it's the final one of the year. Jolly, I'll see you in September. Listeners, I'll see you next week. Giants 70-70, Eagles 0. We'll see you then. Until then, let's go Big Blue.